Welcome back, boys and girls. Today we are diving deep into the exhilarating events of One Piece Chapter 11-18. This chapter is packed with action as Luffy regains his Gear 5 ability and faces off against another Elder. But that's not all. Luffy's actions awaken two of the world government's most feared nightmares, making this chapter one of the most thrilling in recent memory. The cover page sets a joyful scene with Yamato humming cheerfully and enjoying a bento. After 8 cover pages of build-up, Yamato finally embarks on what promises to be an extraordinary journey. This moment is a culmination of anticipation, and it's thrilling to think about the adventures Yamato will experience next, reflecting their excitement and curiosity about the world. Chaos unfolds as the Iron Giant, hurled by Walkyrie, creates pandemonium among the Marines. Unfamiliar with this massive metal entity, they panic as it threatens to drag their ships down. The sheer scale and power of the Iron Giant are overwhelming, and as it begins to sink into the depths, it pulls several nearby ships along with it. The broadcast snail inside the giant loses consciousness, severing the live connection and leaving the audience in suspense about what's happening. Amidst this turmoil, we hear a few more words from Dr. Vegapunk's crucial message. He mentions a name potentially linked to those with the D initial, possibly hinting at Nefertari D, which could be key to understanding the broader mystery of the D. This connection to the past adds layers of intrigue to his message. Submerged underwater, the Iron Giant questions Joyboy's whereabouts, suggesting these questions are relevant both in historical and present contexts. Joyboy, a figure expected to fulfill significant tasks like aiding the fishermen, ultimately failed to complete them. The presence of Imu's possession, seemingly Joyboy's massive straw hat, underscores the mystery. The Iron Giant, awakened after 200 years, finds it odd that Joyboy seems so near and yet unattainable. Meanwhile, the remaining Navy ships are under threat from a gigantic boar monster. The sight of the Elders, particularly the displeased warrior god of justice, is both rare and intimidating. Their presence alone is enough to strike fear into the hearts of those who witness it. With Dr. Vegapunk's live stream abruptly cut off, viewers are left to speculate whether something dire has happened, fearing that he might have met a fate similar to the late king of Alabasta. Ironically, while Luffy is perceived as Dr. Vegapunk's captor, he is actually on a mission to save him, just as he once saved Alabasta from peril. Next, we see a king unfamiliar to me, whose chef is confident that the world government wouldn't execute the world's smartest person despite his transgressions. This scene highlights the deep trust people place in the government, even as it engages in questionable actions. Leo, ever naive, is shocked to learn it's supposedly Luffy's fault, causing much distress to Rebecca. This interaction emphasizes how perceptions can be manipulated and how Luffy's true intentions are often misunderstood. Back on Egghead Island, Vegapunk York receives a call from the Elders. Despite her respectful and fearful demeanour, her response isn't very formal. The Gorosei are eager to know how many Vegapunks have survived apart from York. York checks who's still connected to punk records and finds that Lilith, the second Vegapunk, and Atlas, the fifth Vegapunk, are active. Although this count is incomplete, Stella and Edison are disconnected but alive. York informs the Elders of Lilith's and Atlas's locations. This information sets the stage for the Gorosei's next moves. The Gorosei decide to eliminate perceived threats. Mars believes punk records will continue to operate and expand even after Vegapunk Stella's death. With York's assistance, they will gain access to its vast knowledge, rendering the other Vegapunks unnecessary and potentially dangerous. This makes the Egghead incident feel like a strategic division of assets. The world government secures York, Punk Records, and the Mother Flame. The Straw Hats gain Bonnie, control over the Pacifistas, and ideally the remaining Vegapunks, and the Blackbeard pirates get Caribou, the locations of 2 ancient weapons, and now since Saturn's image via Katarina Devon. Meanwhile, the giants seeking friendship are ready to set sail. Dory, Brogy, and Luffy, thrilled to have finally arrived, board the ship. Bonnie calls Luffy by his name instead of Straw Hat, and Frankie and Sanji are awestruck by the giant captains, marvelling at the sheer size of the ship. On the battlefield, 2 young vice admirals command their forces to hold firm, determined not to let the enemy escape despite the overwhelming odds. The giants' immense power makes them formidable opponents. The Marines worry about their senior officers as Vice Admirals Dole, Bluegrass, and even the mechanized sea beast have been turned into children by Bonnie's abilities. Bluegrass, despite her childlike form, can't help but admire the immense power of Bonnie's fruit. Bonnie, at only 12 years old, hasn't fully revealed the extent of her age-changing fruit's capabilities, leaving much to be discovered. Mocking the high-ranking Marines while holding a pistol, Bonnie is aware of the serious trouble they're in for letting her escape. Even Enjo couldn't capture her, highlighting the difficulty of the task. Kashi, after being defeated by Vice Admiral Dole, is brought back to their ship. Luffy is delighted to reunite with more of his giant friends, who are equally happy to see him. DJI informs Nami over the communicator that their group is preparing to leave. Nami promises to follow, and thanks to Edison's sacrifice, they'll reach the ocean. However, as Nojuro rises nearby, Nami notes they might need help landing safely. DJI is eager to assist, prioritizing Nami, Robin, and Lilith, which annoys Usopp for being left out. Frankie pledges to protect the ship, further displeasing Usopp. As the giant ship sails, they spot the Itsumede form of St. Marcus Mars approaching. Sanji braces himself as the Elder draws nearer, catching Bonnie's attention. This is the third monster Elder she's faced personally, marking another significant encounter. Meanwhile, Luffy gets to know the giant crew chef. Despite preparing plenty of food in advance, the chef is shocked to see Luffy devour it all in one go. Luffy apologizes, explaining that he needs the energy for Gear 5 and asks the chef to prepare more food for later, much to the giant's amusement. Mars unleashes a burning beam attack, and the giants use their shields to protect the smaller crew members. The shield bearers, named Bjorn and Sig, resonate with historical and mythological figures: Bjorn Ironside, a Viking chief, and Saigon, a Norse goddess. Although Sig could be Prince Loki's wife, it's unlikely in this context. The Marines are baffled by the flaming giants assisting them. Dory thanks them for their protection. Bonnie insists they must get Stella and her father out of danger, and Atlas offers to carry them. Dory and Brogy, irritated by yet another monster, realise they can't ignore it as it can pursue them indefinitely. The Elder declares that no one will escape, adding to the tension. At that moment, Frankie senses something unexpected. The sea and everything it touches begin to bounce rhythmically, as if alive with energy. The Marines mistake this for an earthquake, but Luffy, with a full stomach, understands better. The disturbance makes the Marines believe that Dr. Vegapunk's claims about rising sea levels might be true. Mars, sensing the change, shifts his focus. Luffy, finding Bonnie, calls out to her. Surprised, she mistakenly says Nami's name, but Luffy remains confused. Bonnie has been switching names frequently, adding to the chaos. Dory and Brogy, enjoying themselves, dance to the drums of liberation, but Brogy insists one must stop dancing and address the fire. Luffy encourages Bonnie to join him in facing troublemakers, but she doubts she can keep up. Despite this, Luffy remains confident in her abilities. Bonnie recalls his words about his transformation, symbolizing his freedom. Inspired, Bonnie taps into a distorted future power. Kuma's body remains still as the memory of his bow to Ginny appears. Bonnie's future vision shows a world where she's completely free. Now, with two Namis, there's double the drums and double the fun. Luffy and I both love this. The Marines are confused, and Mars loses his tough stance. Luffy is ready for another Elder fight, with only Nero left to confront. Bonnie is ready to fight too. Elsewhere, the drums of liberation resonate through Walkiri and Jupiter, signalling urgency. They realise the Iron Giant's attacks from 200 years ago didn't stop because it was defeated, but because it ran out of power. Joyboy's presence changes that, and now the battle isn't over. With two Iron Giants in play, the stakes are higher, promising an epic confrontation. The Iron Giant's confusion about Joyboy might indicate that Joyboy's form was more permanent in the past. Oda, the creator of One Piece, and Kishimoto, the creator of Naruto, are close friends. Kishimoto has often expressed his love for giant kaiju battles and included them in his series. It seems Oda shares this fascination with these legendary warriors. The Iron Giant, having found its mark, is ready to meet Joyboy again, and the best news, there's no break next week. With many stories on hiatus, it's fantastic to have One Piece to look forward to. As always, I'm Slice Otaku. Thanks for watching, have a fantastic day, and we're going to see each other in the next video.